Natural talent. We tend to envy people who have natural talent. We admire them, look up to them. We think, well, they're special, they're gifted, they're this and that. The more I study it, the more I look into it, I don't believe in natural talent as much. I think that's a game that little people play to help them feel good about not having developed or pursued their own potential. I think it's a game people play when they compare their first efforts, which are always kind of stumbling and mediocre, to somebody's highlight reel, to their, really headline moments. It's a crazy game we play. Now, we do have different talents. We do have to admit that. Matthew 25 and verse 14 starts that passage that you and I would call the parable of the talents. And there was one man that had 5 talents, so obviously there's something more going on there. One man had 2, one man had 1. There's a difference in what we each are able to do and the abilities and the opportunities we have. That part is true. It'd be foolish to argue against that particular part. But everybody has potential. Those people that get to the top in their field recognize their potential, and then they cultivated it. The people like the one talent man are the people who recognize their talent, their seeds, and then they compare them to somebody else, like say the 5 talent guy, and then they don't do anything with it. They never plant it. They just go do nothing. And then they whine because the other person was more something or another, natural talent we like to call it. They were gifted, they were this, they were that. Well, seeds vary, but having seeds doesn't make you a success. There are a lot of educated people. There are people today with college degrees, that's pretty impressive, working minimum wage jobs. There are people with college degrees working alongside other people that barely got a high school education. Something going on now. Obviously, one was a little more academically talented than the other, and one developed it, but now they're both getting paid the same thing. There are millionaires, people who are crazy successful in this life, who only have a high school education. See, it's not about, oh yeah, but they were born in the right place, the right time. Nah. It's about they realized their potential, and they took those seeds and they planted them, and they cultivated them, and they nourished them. And different plants grow at different paces. I'll give you that one too. Sometimes it takes 10, 15 years to get something to maturity. Other times, if you're just growing radishes, they'll grow pretty quick, right? So what you do is you find your potential, and you quit comparing yourself to other people. The flowers in your flower bed, one flower doesn't look at the other and go, well, I'm not the same color as he is. I'm not the same kind of flower. I don't have as many petals. My petals are bigger. Mine are smaller, blah, blah, so on and so forth. Flowers don't do that. Flowers in your flower bed just grow to their full potential. And we love each and every one of them, right? Let's do that with us. This is my potential. This is what I enjoy doing. Okay, I'm going to take this potential as far as it will go in the time that God has given me. I don't know what your potential is, but you need to identify the seeds that you've been given, and then you need to plant them and cultivate them and nurture them and keep working with them and just whatever over the years to come and see where to go. And don't stop. Don't stop. You don't quit. When you get to the top, you don't sit down and go, well, I made it, I'll quit now. No, you're not done growing. You haven't taken and unpacked all the seeds. There's still more to grow there. Think of yourself as, what's the word I want, a perennial. You're going to just go through season after season after season. You're just going to get bigger and bigger and better and better. And you're going to become one of those people we call a spiritual giant. Now, this all has to do with spirituality too. I think you can see it in the secular world quite easily. But it says, study to show yourself approved. Now, I don't know about you, but as one speaker said, I was in the half of the class that made the top half possible. I was lucky to get a C. If I had a C on my report card, I was like ecstatic. I thought, woohoo, I'd won the lottery or something. I just wasn't the sharpest knife in the drawer, I promise you that. And grasping academic concepts was a horrendous struggle. It was like reading Greek, literally. And sometimes I would have to read a passage 3 and 4 and 5 times, or read a book 2 or 3 times so I could finally figure out what the author was trying to get through. But eventually this muscle developed, this muscle we call a brain. And going from multiple hours of struggling to grasping something more quickly is something to develop. So some of us don't, you are not blessed when it comes to academics. I had a little friend back in first, second grade. I was still struggling halfway through my paper and she was already done, standing up at the teacher's desk. And of course, the teacher just loved her. They kind of look at me and go, well, there's Clarence. They were patient. They were nice anyway. So you do it. And if somebody else is a little more skilled at it, so what? Let's take singing. Yeah, there's an element of natural talent, raw talent there in singing. But even if you have a raw talent and don't develop it, then it's not really going to go anywhere. There are a lot of people that can sing, and they're nowhere. They don't sing anywhere beyond the kitchen or the shower. Now, if that's all they want, that's fine. But if they develop that potential and take it a little further, maybe they could. And again, there are some people that the structure of their voice and the way their body's put together, they're just never going to be a great singer. They can carry a note, but not going to be awesome. That's not really where they need to focus their potential. You know, so there's a lot of variation here. But the thing is, you can't count yourself out by comparing yourself to someone else. The moment you look at somebody else and go, well, I can never do that, you're dead. You're over. If you let that mentality get into your head, there's always somebody better than you in everything. So in preaching, I would put myself in the mediocre category. There are preachers who I know are better preachers. If I were to look at them and go, well, I could never do that, I'd have never preached. Fortunately, I was just young enough and eager enough that I didn't care how ugly it looked in the beginning. This is what I wanted to do, and I went for it. Now, I'll let you grade how you think I've done with that talent, but once you go, no, I could never do that, you're dead. Same thing with leading songs. I'll guarantee you nobody's ever going to pay me to sing. But if we need a song leader, I can get up and get the job done. No, it's not real pretty, but it gets the job done. You see, so you take and you don't go, well, I could never do that. I could never be a professional singer. I agree with that, but I'm not going to bury my talent just because my beginning efforts compared to somebody who's a superstar, my beginning efforts pale so much you just have to laugh at that. Don't do that to yourself. Don't do that to anybody. You have seeds of potential. I don't know what you want to do with natural talent. Some of this is a little philosophical, but I know you've got some seeds. I don't think God sent anybody to planet Earth with an empty seed packet. I don't think there was anybody He sent to Earth without any talents at all. And that includes you. You got talents. You got some seeds. Now, have you identified them? Have you said, this is my little garden. This is what I'm going to grow, and I'm going to see what I can get out of it? Or did you sit around and look at all the superstars and go, well, I can never do that, and just leave your seeds in the packet? Not a way to live life. So, this video, a little heavier, a little philosophical. There's some things you're going to want to try to figure out. Put your comments below. We'll have a little discussion. We'll try to clarify some of them. And as always, have a great day.